back to my channel and happy 2016! Woo! I'm spitting all over myself. It's a celebratory spit. Yeah! Today's video is the first video for How to Be Happy January. Now, if you've never been on my channel when I've done How to Be Happy January, what How to Be Happy January? I should start calling it hashtag How to Be Happy January. What hashtag How to Be Happy January is a series that I do all month on my channel, all around the conversation of happiness, just like the title of the series sounds. I have a lot of discussions with you guys back and forth, and it really is a back and forth thing, and that is why the title has a hashtag in it, because I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to be able to talk and to have conversations around happiness and things that you're learning and discovering and inspiring quotes and videos and documentaries and podcasts, which we're totally going to get into this month. But today I'm starting off with these 3 easy healthy lunch ideas, and I will tell you all about why and kind of my headspace around inspiration and eating healthy and why I think it is so important, and kind of just the concept of like effort and trying and giving a crap about 2017 and your life in general. So I'm gonna be talking about that at the end of this video. Now, before we hop right in, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, feel free to click that button right here. That's Zoe chiming in, saying that she would subscribe too. Actually, she's just trying to get out of my room. She's staring at me. But also, don't forget to hit that bell button so that way you are not only notified when I upload a video, but also with How to Be Happy January, I am going to be trying to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But that being said, if you've watched any of my videos about my anxiety or my physical health in general right now, I am saying Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I need to have a little bit of wiggle room. So having the bell turned on, besides just the subscribe button, by clicking that button, that way you will be notified every time I upload in case I am not able to get on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday this month. But that's the goal. So I'm gonna jump right in, and I will see those of you that wanna hear my How to Be Happy January spiel at the end of this segment or of this video. Okay, so let's hop right in. All right, so we are starting off with this chimichurri sweet potato with roasted veggies and a little side salad and hummus and all of that jazz. So these are all of the ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe. We're getting our tweet on about How to Be Happy January. Hi, Zoe. I think she's the #1 fan. Oh. So I'm starting off by pouring out my broccoli and cauliflower florets that I got from Trader Joe's, and then I'm prepping my sweet potato by putting some olive oil on it. Now normally, actually, I would make a lot more sweet potatoes and veggies because I like having extra. They save really well. And then I'm putting some sea salt on the potatoes, and I started to poke it with a fork. Then Dan was like, no, you're not being safe, use a knife. So I used a knife. And then I put the sweet potato and the veggies in the oven at 425, and I let those roast while I moved on to the chimichurri. So I took about a handful of parsley and then about a handful of cilantro, and I put them into my food processor like so. And I don't know why I'm doing all these accents. And then I cut up about 1/4 cup of onions, drop that in there as well, and then put about half a teaspoon-ish of oregano. To be honest, I wish I had stopped at just that 1 instead of 2. And then I put in 2 cloves of garlic, a lemon, about a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, some red wine vinegar, about 2 teaspoons-ish into the little mixture. And then I took about a half a tablespoon or a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, and then I pulsed it together. I just did a couple of pulses to kind of break down and grind up the ingredients, and then I scooped them out of the food processor into a little Tupperware, and then I took half a cup of olive oil and slowly mixed this in. Now this is important that you keep all of those ingredients separate and do it in the same steps that I did if you want that consistency, which I think is the best consistency. So then I pulled out my roasted veggies and I put those in a bowl. Yes, I did not put anything on them because there are so many other flavors in this dish. I didn't think that I needed anything else. So then I pulled out the sweet potato, cut it open, and I used some Kerrygold butter on the inside of the sweet potato. And then I took some big scoops, some big helpings of chimichurri sauce, and I put that on the potato. Then I added some veggies on the side, chopped up a little bit of a head of romaine, added that to the plate, some cherry tomatoes, I chopped those up as well and added those to romaine. And then I took some organic chia seeds from Trader Joe's, added those on top of the salad, and then took a scoop of hummus and added that to the plate just for extra flavoring, protein, and then added a lemon wedge and squeezed some lemon juice on top of the salad as my dressing.
Then I added a little bit of avocado, and voila, you have a nice, healthy plate of food that you can easily pack with you, and it's super yummy. All right, so moving on to our next recipe. This is kind of a dupe from a Cheesecake Factory recipe. This is a kale quinoa Parmesan salad. This stuff saves really well too. Pretty much all kale salads save well, even once the dressing is in. So I started off by making some quinoa, and I poured about 2 cups of veggie juice, and I accidentally poured way too much quinoa in there, but it's whatever. I didn't plan on making so much, but now I have extra, so that's always good. I actually mostly like to cook to have leftovers. So anyways, making the dressing, I poured about half a cup of olive oil, squeezed a full lemon, added 2 cloves of garlic, and then about 2 teaspoons of honey, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and then about half a teaspoon of oregano. And then I walked over, checked on my quinoa, made sure that was all doing well. And then I came back over and I chopped up my kale salad just a little bit more, took out some of the extra hard stems, put that in a bowl, and then I grated up some Parmesan to add on top. I'd say about 1/4 of a cup. Then I checked on my quinoa. It was done, so I put it in a bowl and stuck it in the freezer to cool off really quick. And in the meantime, I chopped up some grapes, added those to my salad, and then once my quinoa cooled off, I added that to the salad as well, and then poured my dressing on top and tossed it. Ooh, look at me tossing that salad. Oh, there goes Dan. And that is my kale quinoa salad. Like I said, this stuff is amazing. It will pack well for work. Zoe gives it a big fat thumbs up or a paws up. And yeah, so moving on to lunch number 3. This is a Mediterranean veggie sandwich. You can add any veggies that you want. Really anything you want at all. I mean, you can do that to any of these recipes, obviously, but these are all of the ingredients that I used. So I started off by toasting my sourdough bread, and while that was toasting, I cut up a red bell pepper, and then I diced up a red onion, halved some cherry tomatoes. I prefer to use a big tomato, but I didn't have any. I was all out, so it is what it is. And then once my toast popped up, I spread some hummus on the toast, added my red onions, my cherry tomatoes, the pepperoncinis. Oh, pepperoncinis are so good on a sandwich, guys, if you haven't tried that before. My red bell pepper. Bowser was hating on the fact that he was not eating this sandwich himself. Added some romaine lettuce, some feta cheese to the sandwich. I should have put that down first, but once again, it's whatever. And then I packed my sandwich, cheesy fingers and all. So cute. And then I cut my sandwich in half, and that is it. So I like to have on the side maybe like some Greek yogurt. This Greek yogurt and chia is really good. And I pulled one of these pickles as well. And guys, that is my lunch. And those are my 3 easy, healthy lunch ideas. Round of applause, everyone. Oh yeah. I hope that you like these, and I hope that you have fun making them. Be sure to tweet me a picture with the hashtag if you do, by the way.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of the segment of the video. Oh man, of course, once I start talking, then you don't want anything to do with me, huh? She wants all of my attention. Even if I'm giving it to you guys, she can feel that I am no longer paying attention to her, and she wants all of the attention, huh? Okay, I'll let you go. Actually, I need to let Zoe out because she's gonna freak out the whole time. So what I wanted to talk about today for the very first How to Be Happy January is caring, is effort. This is something that I have been thinking about a lot this year, and that is having the energy and the passion and the drive to actually care that much. And not only just care that much about what you're doing, but care that much about life. You know, the title of this video is 3 easy, healthy lunch ideas, but what I was kind of thinking of when I was thinking about that title is the fact that nothing in life is easy. I feel like maybe you've heard that quote before that like nothing worth doing like is easy, or like it all takes effort or whatever, but I don't just feel that way about like nothing that's worth doing, you know, it doesn't take energy. I feel that way kind of about everything. I don't really believe that anything in life is that easy. Even when you find the things that you love and people will say, oh, like it's so easy, time flies, it's like I'm not even doing anything. I believe that to an extent because I do have some things in my life where like I will slip into that flow, into that like, whoa, so much time has passed. But even those things take or have taken effort, whether it was training to learn how to do those things good enough to be able to slip into that flow, or just the initial chutzpah and push that I needed to get up and get into that thing to then be able to get into a flow. And I feel like it's really hard sometimes in life to not become jaded or become like depressed by your own maybe history or past or story that you've created. You know, I hear that a lot in work, but I feel like this is true in life, that the key to not just success, but I feel like happiness and personal development and growth is to be able to go from one failure to the next failure without getting jaded, without being down and hard on yourself, which, like I said a second ago, I think is really hard, because I think sometimes in life, once you do fail at something, I keep putting quotes around it because I don't really think that there is such a thing as failure. I think that it really is something or a situation that you go through that then teaches you and maybe fine-tunes your skills or changes your thinking to be able to move forward and learn from that. But I think to keep that mindset sometimes of what I actually think failure really is really hard, because it is much easier to become upset by not getting the outcome that you want, to become downtrodden, if that's the word, because you didn't get what you want, as opposed to, okay, what is this teaching me so I can adjust and then move forward? Or maybe this situation that's happening right now is supposed to kind of be pushing me in a new direction in life, because that is where I should go. That is where I'll ultimately be happier. I have so many thoughts in my head. It's really hard to keep them all straight sometimes because I'm talking like 6 million miles a minute and I have so many thoughts. Okay, so I was going to go back to this other thing, but I'll say what it's going to there, which ultimately will lead you to more happiness. Now, along the lines of happiness, another thing that I have been thinking about a lot, besides the fact that I don't think anything is easy, and I think caring and having that energy and passion enough to actually care and get up and do something is hard, but people will ask me a lot, like, how do you get inspiration for things? Like, how do you get inspiration to work out or eat healthy or do anything really? And I think that there are many answers to that. You can obviously surround yourself with inspiration, whether it's like an inspiration board or you're on Pinterest or you watch videos. And I do think that that is those are really like awesome tactics to use when you're trying to become inspired. But I also think, and this is probably one of my top goals, I have a few like goals for this year in terms of like myself and what I want to do. I guess that's what the definition of a goal is. But one thing that I really want to work on that lines up with that is really creating joy and not just happiness, I guess. I don't know. When I hear the word happiness, sometimes I think of it as something that is cheap and quick and fleeting, kind of like candy. Like it just almost feels like you can get happiness, that temporary burst of like from kind of anything, but it can kind of go up and down. It's kind of all over the map. There are things in life that are going to happen that it is unavoidable. You will not be happy when you're going through it. But that being said, back to what I was saying about something I want to work on, and that is joy, and that's bringing joy to situations. So whatever the circumstance is, really, I think at first it's going to take some more active effort of finding the beauty, finding the fun and the happiness and the joy in a situation. But my goal is that over time, that finding that beauty and that joy, it changes from finding it to automatically seeing it. And I've gone through stages in my life before where that is very automatic. I automatically go into things and I can see like what's beautiful about it, what's fun about it, what's funny about it. And I notice that I am bringing the joy to that situation. And I think that in terms of like inspiration and stuff like that and finding the energy to care, not only can you, yes, you can inject it from the outside in, but also I think it takes a choice of choosing to show up and bring the joy to the situation and seek out the beauty and seek out the funny and the fun and really making that a choice. Speaking of choice, though, back to like caring about life and finding the energy to actually care to move forward. I do think that, especially at different periods in your life, maybe your whole life forever, depending on your personality or your own personal struggles. Maybe you're someone that deals with anxiety like I do, or depression, or PTSD, or you're just radically trying to change your life. I think that it is a fight to care about life. I think it can be a fight to find the joy in life, but I think that it is a fight that is worth fighting, if that makes sense. There was a lot of usage of the word fight. I think that it's something that just it's worth it. But I think it's a fight to not sloth around. It's a fight to eat healthy. There is no such thing as easy. It's a fight to make it happen. So I personally think that the New Year's is a great time of year because for me, and if you want to join me, it's a time where I recommit to the fight. I think sometimes the fight can get tiring throughout the year. Along with fighting, on just kind of a side note, and the fact that nothing is easy, one thing I want to encourage all of my How to Be Happy January-ers, that's not a word, out there to try is to try praying. I think that praying is something, I've been so open with this. I go through seasons of like, sometimes I'm just like a praying machine and it becomes like a really easy conversation, I feel like, between me and God. But then other times I'm not as good. I forget because God's not standing next to me. And so sometimes I just forget. But I notice that when I'm giving my cares and I'm expressing my sorrows and my pain and my fears to God, that it makes the burden and the fight and the load a little easier and a little lighter. And so I want to just say to you out there, to everyone who doesn't know, by the way, I am a Christian. So through this whole month, as we're talking about things, my perspective is obviously going to be that, my perspective. And my faith has a lot to do with that as well. But that's something that I want to encourage to you, that if you haven't been bringing your fears and your trials and tribulations and your pain to God, I want to recommend that you do that and join me as I try to do that more. I got a short sign. All right, guys, so I have this like weird paranoia, I think, because this is the 5th How to Be Happy January and I do these every year. I'm like paranoid whenever I get done talking. I'm like, did that make any sense? Was that all over the map? I feel like it was really all over the map and crazy, but I hope that it was a little bit helpful and I hope that it excited you and helped you feel fresh and ready for the fight. Now, this is where you guys come in. I want you to tweet me, Instagram me, anything that you think will fall into the world or the realm of How to Be Happy January, healthy recipe ideas, quotes, questions, and comments, because what I'm really actively going to try to do is use your guys' inputs in every single video this month. So whether I'm answering questions or featuring comments or taking your recipes and making recipe videos or whatever, your guys' engagement, I'm going to try to make a really active part of this series. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you back here hopefully on Wednesday with another new How to Be Happy January video, and I will also see you guys in the comments. So that is it, guys. All right, bye. I don't know what that was. I feel like I need to do something entertaining. Bye.